Alright class, today we will be discussing an article about Monsanto and GMOs in the Philippines. Monsanto is urging the Philippines to buy their seeds so that they can increase food production. Now, for those of you who don't know, Monsanto is a seed selling company who is a leading manufacturer of genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. I would like you to discuss with a partner whether or not you think the Philippines should accept Monsanto's offer.
No.
Monsanto is a sustainable agriculture company. What's the worst that could happen? The Philippines need to produce more. They're headed to a possible food crisis.
What? Monsanto isn't sustainable at all. Their seeds have to be purchased year after year at crazy prices that farmers can't afford. This creates a crazy cycle of dependability for the farmers, which is essentially a debt cycle that they can't escape. What they produce can't pay off their debts or buy new seeds. They also need to buy Roundup so that the seeds can be so high yielding, which is another added expense. So they're really not sustainable for the farmers financially.
Okay, so maybe not Monsanto, but they need GMOs. GMOs are the only way that a country can produce enough food to feed everyone. They're more drought resistant and pest resistant than normal seeds, and they're way bigger yields for the farmers.
Yeah, that's true, but that's really only a short-term gain. In the long term, using hybrid seeds destroys the nutrient content of the soil.
How?
Well, GMOs are typically used on large-scale industrial farms that use monoculture, and monoculture is really bad for a farmer's land. Each crop needs a different amount of nutrients, so when one type is in the earth for a long time, it uses up that amount of nutrient in the soil, especially nitrogen. When the nutrients are used up, there's no recovery for a really, really long time. And the only way to solve that problem is doing something like crop rotation, where the soil has time to replenish its nutrients.
Oh, I didn't know that. If GMOs are so bad, though, why are people like Bill and Melinda Gates investing in GMO use in Africa?
Well, because they're looking at that short-term gain we just talked about, high yields. What a lot of people don't know is that we don't need GMOs to feed the world. We already produce enough food, we just need to work on distribution.
Really?
Yeah, did you know there's actually the same amount of obese people to hungry people in the world today? Small-scale farmers could actually feed the world if we spread food properly. Plus, GMOs aren't as healthy anyways. GMOs are typically corn, grains, rice, and other things like that. Not a lot of agricultural diversity there. That generally contributes to more caloric need instead of nutritional need too. Small-scale farmers grow a variety of crops that not only provide calories, but also vitamins that we need to be healthy.
That actually makes sense. Farmers wouldn't need to grow crops that are genetically modified to have like more of a certain nutrient if they could plant the crops that already have a good balance of nutrients.
Right.
Wow, so if the Philippines did decide to buy GMCs from Monsanto, they'd actually end up being in a lot of trouble. They wouldn't be able to pay for their seeds, let alone the fertilizers and the pesticides that they need to produce the seeds as well. Their land would suffer over time and eventually they'd lose a lot of it. That would like totally exacerbate their food security issue in the long run. Filipinos would really suffer.
Exactly.
So supporting small-scale farms would work a lot better for them. They could have crop rotation to keep the soil healthy, grow a variety of crops too. They'd avoid that like crappy debt cycle and increase pesticide use and land degradation. This would totally be beneficial to the people and to the soil surrounding and the surrounding wildlife. The Philippines could also develop some sort of supply management like the US had in the 30s and 40s so that no one produces too much, thereby lowering the price of various foods. That would help their economy.
Yeah. Glad to hear that you can see why we don't need GMOs to feed the world. We never needed them before the Green Revolution, so why would we need them now?
Yeah, we have enough food as is. We just need to distribute it evenly and encourage farmers to take on better farming practices that don't include GMOs. Although they do have some positive aspects, in the long run, they're going to cause a lot more trouble than anything. We don't need them.
Alright class, time to discuss.